Okay, I'm like a minute early. I don't know if anybody's out there. I'm just going to kind of hang until I see viewer count go to one, or and there's one person on. Throw comments if you like. I'm getting ready to open this thing up, see what we got. So I got like 2 minutes. Oh, whoever it was, it went away. So it's here. This is it. I bet that was on Facebook, but here it is. 1 minute. I wanted to make certain everything was camera wise was right. It looks like it is. It says I got 1 minute and well, it says I've been on 1 minute. All right. If you have any comments, throw them into the. How you doing, Ed? So I got two cameras. I'm going to switch it to the other camera in just a second, and I'll be a little bitty small box up there. And it looks like it's time. So let me switch back. As you can see here, got my Duo 2 out, but I discovered I'm not going to need my knife. So here's the package that Otterbox sends it in, kind of a big cardboard-ish envelope, but it tears open, so we're going to rip into it. And there it is. Looks like every other Otterbox I've ever had, as far as the box is concerned. You wonder sometimes how much effort really should go into a protective cases box. They shouldn't need any protection. Not sure what all we get. Man, I can't read that. That's a magnifying glass reading there. Tore it up. Okay. So here's the case. As you can see, I did see the one video yesterday of the case. I have cleaned my device already, and from what you can see, of course, things are, hopefully you can see that. I see that little box is in the way, but our fingerprint reader, and then there's let's see how this works for the volume. Significant amount of material here on the corners. And the amount of material down the sides is considerably more than what is on a bumper. So my first concern that I see is, of course, going to be this guy. How well is this device going to work with that? I already see fingerprints. So, oh, I saw two. There is. So there's material front and back on this side. And of course, just front here. Because you're going to have to fold your device back. Interesting. There is this coverage for the ports. It is. So this is going to increase the, I don't know if you can see this, but this will increase the IP rating of the device. I don't know what it'll increase it to. So if you want one piece, I guess you do this riveting thing that they did. I would have been okay with it being two pieces that slide on. It didn't have to be one together piece, but still have my magnetic adapter on. So it looks like that is out of the picture now. I'll not be able to use the magnetic adapter. So I assume it just slides in here like this. And, so how do you do that? You're going to have to put it on like so. I guess. Let's struggle here. All right. Okay. And I got it right. I have it right, yes. I don't know if this was a good idea to do live or not, this part. I can't quite figure it out. It's got to be like so. One person watching is laughing. He can't put on his case. Oh, yeah, I see what I was doing wrong. Okay. That was on me. I kept thinking this plastic here needed to go back here. Like this side has plastic on both sides, which I'm kind of glad because I'm starting to see some scuffs on the glass. I'm really disappointed in that. So I'm gonna have to take this thing off again later but let's so I'm already seeing a bit of an issue, maybe. But we'll see how the fingerprint works because the power button is kind of down in the valley, so to speak. So we'll see. Okay. So we're going to boot up and I'm going to see how the touch works. Okay. It is less responsive. How less responsive? Of course, it's still booting up, but I was able to do a home. So maybe not. Maybe it's okay. Do it again. That's me. That was on me. Let's see. Yep. That works. It's going to be a little more difficult maybe to, maybe not. I already signed in. Okay, so that stuff works. I don't really use sticky notes, but I use OneNote. But let's see. Oh, come on, Dale. It works. Okay. It does fold all the way back. Okay. That's interesting. Good. I shouldn't say interesting. That's good. Um, you'll be able to lay it down without any surface touching. There is a lip here, a nice lip. Because there's a lip, you feel it when you hold it. So that's going to take some getting used to in one hand mode. In book mode, it's not so bad. And, oh, that's right. I'm not, I thought I had my, so I don't have anything on my home screen in the first screen just so that I can see my wallpapers. Because I don't mind doing one swipe to get to some apps. Um, I have wallpaper, I want to see it. So that's why I do that. And I do like to go all the way out on the ends and add an extra screen and see how the home return gestures work. And is that me? It must have been me. Seems like it's a little harder for me to see the bottom of the dock. And that's where you need to start that home gesture, because they're at the dock and go up and end there in the icon area. It interesting enough. It's not as restrictive as I thought the plastic would be. You do have a better IP rating. Your only concern now would be the speakers. And I don't know if Microsoft did anything internally to help in case any moisture got in there. The fact that I don't know which way it opens. I think it opens this way. The fact that there's a cover here. Gosh, can you see that? I'm trying to look on the screen and see what you can see, but there is a nice snap-in cover here. But that means that my USB, I'll put in there just to see. Nah. Magnetic adapters out. I saw somebody 3D print and they covered up the port and they were like, well, you can take the cover off. But who wants to do that? Even though even if it slides on and off, who wants to do that to charge? Um, it's an interesting case. Very interesting. They did a very good job with this fold back. And maybe they did what, so I was going to 3D print one, and I'm still considering it, and they did exactly what I was uh, have in my mind. And I mentioned this on Reddit, and that is to taper up right here. So they do have a taper here. Yep. So I'm glad to know that that idea was a good idea because they adopted it. Um, there's a lot of material here, so I'm curious what their infill is, if there's any provided cushion. So I'm going to actually do a review after a day or two, and I'm going to try to talk to Otterbox and find out if they've drop tested this device. Um, it's not as nice holding, I can tell you that, just because you got all this here on the edge. So it kind of presses into your hand a little bit. It is better in book mode than it is single screen mode, but you don't have to worry about dropping the device. Now, I didn't mind the bump because the bump makes it easier to hold. It gives you a place for your fingertips to go in um, and kind of get a grip with this on. And that plastic is not slick, so you could hold it like so and not drop it. Let's see. That is, it makes the fingerprint reader not as responsive. So let me see. Just might be something I have to get used to. I would say it's going to take you, instead of it being instant, which is what it is, it's like as soon as you touch it, it comes on. Now it's going to probably be about a second. Um, yeah. And that's because, and you're going to have to maybe press a little bit. Let me see. I'm going to not press and just rub my finger. It worked, but it may be just finding the right place to start. It's an expensive case, but if you're concerned about your device, and I've already seen people have dropped their device and they have hinge problems, after the drop. Um, if you've had that happen and you had the chance to step back to the time right before you dropped it, would you paid the money to put the case on it? Most likely, yes. Um, the screens should be able to, and they're Gorilla Glass, and they should be able to handle a fair amount of shock this way. This way, maybe not quite as much, but then this right here should absorb the force. And you're going to protect the camera bump. It does come out, and that's the reason I say it's kind of, I don't want to say awkward, it just feels different holding it because it does stick out further than your camera bump. So that's a pretty big step right there for your hand to lay across. So that's going to take some getting used to. It looks like it's about twice as much than as compared to the bumper going around your edge here. You got twice as much material. Again, uh, I'm hopeful that somebody's going to get me a 3D printer for my birthday. Um, and my plans were on a case was to make it probably twice as the thickness of the bumper. And it looks like Otterbox has done that. It's really neat. So it's not as far out here. I don't know if they did that for aesthetics or ease. They had to have a certain amount of had to have a certain amount for protection, but then not so much for the fingerprint and power button. So that lowers this overall profile unless you get crazy up here. And so they've kind of lowered it on this side. Looks a lot like the cases I've seen on iPads that I've had. So, boy, it's hard to say a case that costs this much, but what option do you have? You don't have an option. There is no real good option. I haven't touched a charging case to see, but I'm positive it doesn't give you this kind of protection. I did get that case that you maybe have seen on Amazon, and I got it off of AliExpress. There's only one maker of that case. Number of people selling it, and even if it could fit and fold back all the way, it's not protective. It's really not going to give you any protection. Uh, I can't give a percentage, but it give you slight protection. Certainly, we give you protection from scratching the back, um, but drop protection is going to be minimal. Better than nothing, but not $20. I don't think so. Um, okay, so there are a lot of positives about this case. There's of course some negatives, but the fact that the pen works and touch works, and uh, right now I would say the responsiveness that I was getting out of the swipes is about like they are on my Duo One. So not bad, very usable, maybe beyond usable, um, in the good numbers. Uh, it's really hard to say after a few minutes of swiping, etc. I'm gonna have to have some days with it to see. But yeah, there's protection here. There's decent. There's really good protection. The only place we don't have protection is back here. Now the riveter part probably provides some protection here right on the corner. No, some. It obviously it does. How much I don't know, but this thing takes a blood. So let me see here. Ed says worth the money. Um, hey, it depends on how things bother you, and then of course how clumsy you might be. It's a hard device to hold without something on it. It needs at least a skin, or you're going to drop it. Um, I've seen already some scuff on my back, and I actually got a little scratch right here. I don't know why, because I treat my device very kindly. I'm actually going to talk to Microsoft about that. It's not bad, but so this would keep that kind of stuff from happening. So if that stuff bothers you tremendously, then that's one reason to get something like this, because you've got uh, good protection for that, except for back here on this side. There's nothing here, so you'd want to have a skin here. Um, if you drop it, if you do any damage to the screen, and boy, I saw some quotes of 600, and somebody mentioned $650 to repair the screen. And I don't know, Microsoft probably replaces the device. I don't think you can carry this thing to a cell phone repair place and have a screen done. And I've taken phones apart. I've taken screens off, but from what I've seen on that teardown, the destruction, I wouldn't want to try to get into this device. So it'd be worth it to keep that from happening. It's probably going to help with that hinge a little bit, a drop, because if you get a drop, depending on how, if a drop hits anywhere in here, you're going to be good. I think you're going to have a lot of protection. A, a drop hits here, no. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of money, but then it's a high cost to repair. Um, Maybe worth it. Give me a day or two to say. Um, Re-enroll my fingerprint again. Yeah, I'll try that. Can you remove the plastic screen protector? Sure, you could. You could rip that out. You could X-Acto knife cut it out if you wanted to. Uh, right now, I don't know that you need to. Um, Give me a couple of days to work with this. I got I think two teams meetings tomorrow, and what I usually do is I take handwritten notes in OneNote on my Duo during the Teams meetings, and actually use Teams on my PC. And that'll be a good test because I figure if anything's going to be difficult, it's going to be the active pen. Now, certainly if you're swiping a lot, so I'll spend some time today, tomorrow, um, and do swipes and see how the swiping works out. But you can remove anything that you want to remove, obviously. But once you start, it's kind of like me with that case that I got from AliExpress. I was so anxious to start cutting on it to see if I could make it work, and I just jumped right into it after doing a quick review. I saw some of the problems. Uh, this plastic is as bad as a screen is about fingerprints. Well, and I'll wash my hands with dishwashing so I could cut down on the oils in my hand a little bit so I could clean my device before I put this on. Uh, I don't know what my number one gripe is with the Duo 2, but fingerprints are right there at the top. This black one looks good when you clean it up, but you cannot keep it clean. I wish Microsoft would make one that looked like a Surface. Make it out of the same material. That would eliminate at least the fingerprints on the back side. I don't know what we do about the glass because you know they don't get too much in our way. The I don't do that gesture much at all. I just don't do it. But it's yeah, it's see, I'm just light flicking. Some of those flicks were not light. Let's see here. This has turned into a light flick. So you got to come down into the screen. I was swiping the bezel area. Not, I can't do it at that angle. So I don't know. I think it's just light touches here. Light touch down. There's a search. So Just going to barely touch. I don't know that you need to remove it. I tell you right now, I wouldn't. I'm not going to. If I couldn't use the device with it on it, I wouldn't use. I wouldn't have. Oh, there's a tough call too, because again, you don't want to drop it. Can we have skin with otter case? You can have skin, yes, but you're going to have to cut whatever skin you buy, because I'm sure any of the skins go edge to edge here and edge to edge here, and this comes in the edge quite a bit. I don't know. Yeah, you definitely could put a skin here, for this part. You might could put a skin, you might could put the whole skin on. I don't know. It fits really, so it's a very good fit here. So I don't think you'd be able to have a full skin on the back and put this on. And Otterbox did an exceptional engineering job. I think very exceptional, because when you consider what you have here, and to make it, I mean, one, all the fits have to be tight, because if it's loose here, if you have a millimeter or two of slop, then that's going to impact all the way down to here, and which is going to impact that closing. So you wouldn't be able to do that as well. Oh man, I do that too often. Oops, two finger didn't work. Um, so no, you would not be able to leave it the full skin on if that's what you meant. But will it work on the original Surface Duo? I doubt it. I would say no, because the dimensions are different of the two, and it's not going to work, because this thing slides on, and it's like a snug fit. So my guess would be absolutely not. Um, but to be honest with you, this bumper probably provides similar protection. And if I make a case, then I'll make a case for this one. And I'm going to be a lot tighter on my design than what I've seen of people have done. Not saying they've done bad, that their work is bad, but not leaving ports open, um, maybe not having enough material. I don't know what they did for infill. I actually spent about 4 hours studying infills, and what might be the best infill for shock protection. Uh, I'm looking for someone who could model the shock for me, uh, so I could maybe come up with a better idea on exactly how thick and material and what the best infill would be, so that I could get some good shock protection. But this has got to be a very, this is better than I'm sure the bumper is on the Duo 2. I like this bumper, quite honestly. I think I think it adds a lot of protection to the device. So I don't know that I would worry about it. I'd just find another right now. Of course, I have another bumper. I got this charcoal one, and I still have the original Glacier bumper, and I'd probably get another bumper. But honestly, I think I'm going to try to make a case for the community. See if I can come up with something. And so I don't know if anybody got any other questions. Does it make it? Does it makes it Duo 2 look ugly or it looks okay. If you like a manly looking device, it makes it look manly. Now, how's that? It's bold because it's thick. Hey, if you're familiar with Otterbox, um, holding it like this, it looks like an Otterbox. Of course, it is an Otterbox, but I mean, it looks like every other thing they make. Um, if people couldn't knock off devices, if that was absolutely not possible, and you set this in front of me and didn't have the Otterbox on it, I say, "Oh, Otterbox made that," because so that's the answer. It actually does not look bad at all. What would be really cool is if they offered it in some other colors, though I'm I like black. Having a black phone, it might have been great to have a charcoal color version of it, or a red or something if you wanted to accent. But no, it doesn't look ugly. You never had Otterbox. So Otterbox is great, man. The one thing that you can count on them is they protect the devices get protected in their cases. Uh, I've had a number of Otterbox cases. I personally don't buy Otterbox for my slab phones anymore, um, but I've had Otterbox on when I had to carry an iPad and an iPhone, and it'll handle a drop very very well. And I think this will handle a drop very well. My only concern with a drop, and it's been from day one, is what happens with the hinge. Hinge is a great idea. That's another engineering feat. If you're familiar with mechanics, that is an exceptional job they've done here. But shock can damage it because you got little parts in there, and there's a lot of mass here. So when that drops, there's going to be a lot of energy that's got to go somewhere, and it's going to go in on those gears if it hits down in here. And those gears aren't very big, so not a lot of material. Have to be the strongest material known to man to be able to survive it. But I don't think it makes it look ugly at all. I think in some ways it makes it look distinctive because it is. The looks, no. The hold is going to take to getting used to. That's where you're going to have to get used to it. Is this right here? Putting your hand right here as you hold the device, like, and actually it's going to be like so. So it's still there. You can still feel it. And then single screen mode, which I do a lot of myself. I like to save battery, and if I'm only working on one app, I'll go into single screen mode. So, like when I'm taking notes, I'll just flip it over and treat it like a notebook. So, this lip kind of, it's there. It's not like the naked phone, which I've been naked waiting on this and waiting on. Actually, I was I've had it naked on a few things. I'd heard it was going to release, but it was obviously questionable. And when I took my bumper off to put that other case on, I just said, well, I'm going to leave it off till either that comes or I just go ahead and decide to skin it. And then this came. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to see how. Okay. So the down volume works fine. You have to push it a little harder. Have to put a little more force on it, but it works. You want to nudge it up. It takes a little more of a press, but not much. I'll have to see what I can do about the fingerprint. Man, yeah, it's growing on me right now. I don't think it's going back. I think it's staying on. It may not come off for anything. I think I would like to have something back here, but then you'd want something here. And you might, it'd have to be a real thin skin. Soapy Guard skins are fairly thin, but I just had to replace this one because I keep having a problem with my skin. I had a problem with it coming up here. I didn't heat set it because honestly, it's the first time I've ever put a skin on a device and I didn't know. And it started ripping up on the edge a little bit because you hold it like so and you flip it open and it presses it. But having put it on and off two skins, they're fairly thin, so the Soapy Guard might, I don't know. Man, that is tight. I don't want to pull on it too much. Short answer is maybe. But on I don't know. I'm not even going to say. I'm not going to say you can or can't get it and try. Um, Hopefully I got all the questions. Oh, there's a big one. The old used to give you the option of having that plastic screen protector on or off. You put a tempered glass, I don't know if you're still on here, Ed. You put a tempered glass screen protector on the Duo. I really got to thinking about putting something on the back, but then again, it's right here at these corners here. Nobody seems to take these into account, these hinges. I say nobody. The one other case that I have looked at did not take that into consideration. I got to thinking whether they're obviously in China and I got on Alibaba where you can buy this stuff in bulk, and I think I was talking to the maker of it, and I thought about giving them some engineering thoughts on it, but then I decided no. Okay, I don't want to keep everybody here. If you got no more questions, I'm gonna let you run, and I'm gonna try to get accustomed to the device. I got a new build a G cam the other night, and I want to go try it before I go announcing it. I did post about it in the Telegram channel. The D brand, I didn't like the feeling on holding the device and touching the edges. Yeah, you can feel the skin, um, and you can feel it with the Soapy Guard just a little bit. It's not much, but it's definitely as your hand rubs across it. Um, and I get what you mean by sharp, not a cutting sharp, but it's a sharp thing for um, a feel. And it kind of can get, I don't know if annoying's the right word, but I'm with you on that 100%. It's not, it just doesn't feel right. And this right here might be an issue for you because this is even more so. It's a sharp change in, you'll feel it. as your hand lays across it. It's not going to hurt you, but it could definitely distract you for a while till you get accustomed to it. It's the first time I've unboxed anything live. I do a lot of live casts for high school sports, but haven't. We did one a couple of weeks ago. I did with Harry Green, and we're going to do another one maybe tomorrow night, maybe tonight. I don't know. He wants to do another one. We're going to talk more technology. Um, okay. Well, if that's it, I'm sorry. I'm looking over to see if there's any. So thank you guys for coming to watch. Hey, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. I need subscribers. That's it. I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks for taking some time to watch it and giving me some feedback. Take care.